Hey, sports fans, Greg Medford from the Greg Medford Show, live here at Blade Show in Atlanta, Georgia, 2022. I got one of the godfathers of the modern knife-making industry. Not to blow too much smoke up your ass, but Anthony, I call you regularly one of the most talented designers and innovative guys in the business. I admire your business. I love the finishes on your knife. I love the thoughtfulness of your packaging. I love the whole zeitgeist to your look, and it's got that really stylish Italian coolness to it. And I think you're a badass for pulling it off. And when you do that, you get darts in your back from everybody chasing behind you.
This is true. But I appreciate the kind words.
No, they're true, and they're hard. And I mean it. I mean it. I get slayed, and I hear you get slayed, and I say, hey man, this is a fucking tough gig being out in front and what you do.
Dude, I mean, it's like that anywhere you go. I mean, you know, when you're kind of leading the pack in that direction, yeah, you get some darts put in your back. Yeah. But like anything else, you know, I don't get nearly butthurt as much, you know, when, you know, if somebody, you know, defames us, then we're going to go after them in a big way. But, you know, we appreciate the comments, suggestions. You know, we get razzed a lot. I get that. But, you know, no, in a bad way. I mean, we always do. But, you know, for as long as we're continuing to buy the knives, we're going to continue on our customer service and our, you know, we're just going to continue to try to do better. Because like I was explaining, even though, you know, my time in this industry will be short, you know, eventually I'll pass, you know, but the boys will take it over. Even with my son, Tony, you know, I was thinking the other day, you know, I wouldn't redo, you know, if I had an opportunity to go back and relive my life, I would do it all the same. There's a couple little things I probably would fucking like to omit from my life and some kooky relationships.
I got a couple little things I'd like to delete.
Yeah, you know, like that I could one or two relationships I could omit without causing a fucking paradox. I would definitely go back and wipe that shit out.
You don't want to crack the space-time continuum.
I know, right? But nevertheless, I mean, you know, you see what my son Tony's doing at Heretic and stuff like that.
Yeah, growing and doing really well, yeah.
And stuff. So, you know, the name is going to live on. You know, so hopefully, you know, those expectations can continue to be met. You know, we've made mistakes. I've made a ton of mistakes along the way. Mm-hmm. Maybe all my decisions are not the best ones, but at the time it seems like a good thing for us. You know, but in the meantime, you know, the company's still expanding. We're still trying to find better ways to manufacture. I mean, you know what it's like here.
Yeah, it's the thing about leadership, though. You know, we can't pause and second guess ourselves.
You cannot.
You can do a little bit of that, like, in the bathroom. But other than that, you got to fucking be a boss. You got to keep going.
No, and it's good. And what really makes, like I say, Microtech successful, not so much, you know, it was my vision, Susan's vision at first, but it's the people that we have. You know, we got a little over 180 full-time people right now. We got some good people.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't always that way. You know, it was always like fucking, I remember dreading going to work. It's like, God, I can't fucking work with this guy or this guy. Or they couldn't work with me. And, you know, the old Tony used to throw fucking hammers through the wall. Oh, new Tony can't do that anymore.
No.
Because HR will fucking have my ass.
Right.
But, you know, we got a good core of people, and that's been probably the biggest part of our strategy is being able to get ourselves surrounded with like-minded people. And it's not always easy.
That's the toughest thing. I've noticed it, too, because when people say, hey, why don't you just get a second shift going? And I go, fuck, man, it's 12 years to get these 50 people that I like, right? And can get along with. Way easier said than done.
Yeah. It's tough.
You know, I've heard some numbers nationally, like it takes 8 hires to get a great stick.
I'm going to say that's pretty close.
I think it is, too. We're probably 5, but...
You know, for us, it's a little different because we go through such a vetting process. It makes it a little and it all depends on how you vet. Yeah. Like we had one, I won't mention names, but she was horrible HR lady before Melinda came in. And that department was just horrible at getting people and retaining them. You know, so the vetting process just didn't simply work for us. But now it's a culture. So, you know, I'd say for every new hire we get on here, I mean, we don't have a very big overturn rate at all.
Yeah.
You know, we try to empower our people. We try to get them in the right positions. You know, and a lot of times you do have to take that chance because you think about it, Greg. I mean, you and I, it doesn't matter. We didn't wake up one day and we were fucking born doing this. We had to learn a lot of this on our own. We had to work into it.
Yeah.
There wasn't no fucking YouTubes and only hands. No, just kidding. But you know, all these different things to go learn how to do this stuff. We had to go figure this out for ourselves.
A lot of problem solving.
So, you know, I think part of our biggest claim to fame is just finding those people that have that motivational skill to want to do better. You know, because a lot of guys would come up to me like, you know, Tony, you're fucking so hard to work for. And I was like, why? Because I expect you to show up on time?
Oh,
or I expect you to fucking do your job? Or how about not be fucking off on your phone during my fucking time. And I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
So, it's just it's changed how we approach things.
Yeah.
Well,
how many employees did you have when you wrote your first employee manual?
Oh my God, maybe the first employee manual I had to, because I almost, I didn't even know what unemployment was until a couple people collected. I was like, you actually get money if you fucking get fired or quit? It's like, I didn't know that. Susan, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So as we grew, maybe 10.
Oh, okay.
10 or 15
We had our
people.
first employee manual at 40 people.
Holy Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and
oh my God.
when we did it, we handed it out to everybody. It was like this momentary culture shock with everybody.
I know, right?
I'm like, guys, I got to have these rules. It can't be like whatever Greg says.
Right. And it's the same thing, but it's a culture. It's a culture, and like I said, most of them get it. If they can't, then we can move them on.
Talk to me about, let's talk knives for a minute.
Yeah.
So what do you see cool or any emerging trends in the knife business?
It's going to be really hard to say. I mean, I think any amount of innovation, because as you've always known, I've seen a lot of companies go through explosive growth and new design and everything else. Even for us back in the day, we have some models that still stick and resonate within our line. Yeah, I mean, the SOCOM Elite or the SOCOM of 1996 is, of course, noticeably different than the one of 2022. But it's kind of like that Ford F-150, the one that was made 100 years ago versus the model, so I believe in that upgrade, but these SKUs that last 20 years or better, with that innovation behind manufacturing and materials, I think if you got a couple really good SKUs that stick, then stick with it. I mean, you were just talking to, Tim Reeve.
Yep.
Look at the fucking Sabenza.
Yeah.
Look at what Chris did with that.
Yeah.
It was very, very simplistic shit,
know,
and they wrote an entire freaking, chapter in knife history with those pieces.
Yeah.
So I think part of that is, I think for companies, it's hard because you walk in here and you see so much new stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like you get even folding knives. I mean, you could put all the folding knives out on this floor, man, and they would all blend in. So I think even in looking at your line, I could tell your line from a arm's distance away. I'm going to know right now that that's Medford knives. So having that ability to continue to innovate, but also keep your DNA, I think is super important.
Yeah.
So for us, yes, some things have manifested a little bit differently on how we got started, but I think most of the core, we understand where our place is.
How do you feel, I think one of the hardest things as you grow is, one, managing the talent, and two, maintaining the quality.
Yes.
And if you're a ball buster, you have to be a lunatic fringe to keep the quality, or it all spills off the table.
That's our biggest expense and our biggest programs at Microtech is
chasing quality.
Is quality control.
And I feel as we get bigger, I think our quality is getting better because the mistakes are so expensive. You have to get them right.
No, you have to, and you have to manage it because it's one of those things. With runtimes and anything else. Yeah. You overlook a runtime on a Swiss, you could scrap a couple shifts worth of parts in a hurry, and it could be something as a mundane, dimension that could be checked with a set of calipers or a micrometer. Now we're looking at systems that are all optical, so it's catching things we can't see.
In real time.
So a lot of things that we don't run into that thing, well, hey, the guy was an operator and ran all these fucking parts, and now we got to go back and fix them.
Got some optical juicy going on.
We got some stuff that we can't see, bro.
Yeah.
You can't see it till you get on the bench.
Right.
And that's the stuff that we're really, really emphasizing. I think probably Microtech's biggest proportion of our expansion is expanding our ability to quality control what we're doing.
Yeah, because as it gets bigger,
it could get so out of control. It can hurt you in a hurry, and it's expensive, especially when you get into scrap and blade materials or raw materials that are big money.
We had 20 sheets of steel go out that had to be plus or minus a half thou, and they came back 4th out of tolerance.
Oh my God!
So
I'm having a fucking stroke.
I know. So the flat grind company says, hey, what can we do to make it right? We'll just get some more material. I go, well, hey, listen, it was $100,000 worth of material, and it's 4 months to get it right now,
and I
need this tomorrow.
Because that's the thing. Even if you could write a check, it's like
you can't replace it.
You can't replace this fucking material.
It's almost like life that gets sucked out,
And that's the biggest thing for us is that's where we emphasize kind of from day one. I mean, I should have a battleship and a big cargo boat and all these things. I invested all in the equipment because that was part of the issue. We never really planned on having a big machine shop. When Susan and I started, we're like, okay, hey man, this guy's making the blade. Chris is doing this guy's doing that. This is great. We're going to assemble them in our fucking living room. But the problem is we start running into those funnels where you would have an OEM vendor or something that would fail, and then you'd have to go, okay, well, this guy needs to get paid. Greg needs to get paid for grinding the blades. You don't want to hear anybody shit about your screws or this or that.
Right. No,
so that's like,
the machine still has to go.
So we started collecting equipment to be able to cover the gaps, and that's how Microtech got in the business of machining.
I know, same with me, because I wanted to have partners who helped me with this stuff, and I found very quickly you have to do it yourself.
A lot of times, and don't get me wrong, we do have a couple really great OEM shops, within North Carolina, up in PA, and a few others that really help out with the surplus.
Cool.
Because it's like the same thing right now. I mean, we're struggling in 3 areas. We're struggling with space. Of course, we have to, continue to team build strategically.
And material.
And then, materials, we did a little something. I did a little something outside of the box when all this COVID shit's hit. And it was ambiguous with my wife, who was my partner at the time, because she didn't want to really see this. She didn't want to.
Did you start buying extra stuff?
Oh, fucking mad,
So did I.
dude.
I've been hoarding for 2 years.
I spent all my fucking money on M390, titanium, aluminum. We struck deals for months, and everybody laughed at me. They're like, "You're fucking crazy."
Well, listen, I drove my mom crazy in accounting because I was like, "Hey, I want 1 million of those bearings. I want 1 million of those races."
And everybody's looking at you, going, "What the? Are you fucking mad?"
But now I'm kind of like, with all the supply chain, I'm like, I still have everything. I'm like, man, I want to.
Because you're going to use it. You know where you're going to be.
And I'm like, I can't go 30 days waiting for something.
No, it would
put you out of business almost.
It would cripple. Yeah. For us, it would be
catastrophic.
Catastrophic.
Yeah.
So if you can't get raw, or you can't get some of these things.
Oh, we got steel. My mom's like, we got a lot of steel. I go, Mom, listen, I need to sleep at night, so I got extra stuff piled up.
I'll tell you what, Greg. Out of anything, you're 100% right. If anything spooks Marfione out of the middle of the night, it's fucking running out of steel.
Yeah.
It'll never happen. I mean, we'd have to have a major catastrophe, because what Bowler does for us now is they stock X amount in Austria, they stock X amount in Boston, and we stock X amount. So what it is, it's an overlap supply because of space, but we always have that rotation, because you think of a mill doing a billet, it could take 24 months on a good day. So we always have
several in play.
Several billets in play. And it's heavy on us, bro.
Yeah.
Because all our residual profits, and I have to do it, but I can cover myself for a 30-month period if the mill stopped.
Well, what spooks me is as the manufacturing in Europe and the United States turns its gaze back to acquiring here instead of in Asia.
Yeah.
And it's going on right now. They're vacuuming up everything, because companies like Boeing and GE and Morton Thiokol, they turn their gaze to acquiring materials here, and we can't compete. They get it all.
Yeah, they do.
And it spooks me. That's the number one thing that kind of keeps me up, because if Boeing went to CPM and said, "Hey, I want all," it would kill the whole knife industry here.
That sucks.
Or it could happen with Airbus and Bowler. I mean, it just depends what the shift of mentality
is.
And
we haven't. I mean, even though we're using the M390 exclusively right now, we've always tried to keep our avenues open.
Yeah.
And that was a big heartbreak for me, because even when we got, and that was a neat thing when Trump was in office, is we fought really hard to get that 100% made in USA with everything labeled. A lot of people break my balls. They're like, "Oh, Tony's running the China." Tony's not running the fucking China. Yes, I mean we're doing a little bit of work with Reich and stuff like that, which I get a little bit of scrutiny, but it's not my meat and potatoes. They already told me, "Hey, we're having a hard time getting materials." I'm like, "Join the club, bro."
Yeah.
I mean, join the club. If you can't make it, it's okay.
Yeah.
As long as they're quality. But the same thing, kind of what we're battling back at home, is just making absolutely 100% sure that we have viable resources moving forward. That's the trick, dude.
I have a couple of ideas, and I kind of wanted to talk to you about them, but away from this mess.
No, I got you, man.
All right, last thing, a little less serious. What's with all the hot chicks at your booth, man? Give me a little breakdown on this, because I hear 2 things. Guys go, I'm here for the Marfione Shot Show, the Blade Show special, and what's with all the hot guys always, what's going on with all the hot chicks over there? I had the hot chick award for a while, and then you got it. What happened, man?
We started looking at programs about a little over a year and a half ago, because we wanted to start working a little bit more towards women, using our knives. So of course, we tagged up with Jamie Villamore, which does a really nice job representing our brand and stuff like that. And but yeah, I mean, I'd say we got a pretty well-rounded selection of beautiful women working. Why not? If I got a beautiful woman behind the counter that could actually manipulate these knives, shoot, and actually carry themselves well, I think it's a good. I think it's a good angle for us.
For sure.
Working with like Kat Minoz from the Women Warriors, they slay it. They slay it as far as getting these knives and the message out to women and the real ladies.
Hey, who's the ginger? Is that your girlfriend?
No, it's not my girlfriend, man.
Just
no comments.
All right, hey, listen, I'm just kidding. I know
No.
you got a lot of stuff to do, and I appreciate you coming over here and
No, man, I
and
appreciate
saddling up to chat with me. Our podcast, it's mostly politics. It's a little bit of knives.
Yeah.
And, I'm probably, when I punch out of this, going to be doing something, running for some national office. So I love talking.
Dude, I'll totally vote for you, man.
I
and I just
appreciate it.
want to say that, I know that we, in a big competitive market, remember, we got 180 people. We have 95,000 square foot of freaking space.
Yeah.
We're expanding here in the U.S. We ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But I support American industry, especially guys like you.
Yeah.
So I give you the freaking kudos for doing the shit that you're doing back here at home, and you're always going to get our support in that realm. And that's the biggest thing that we expect is we don't mind the competition.
I love the competition.
I love
here.
the competition right here. We just don't like it when we get guys that are like, hey, all USA made, all veteran owned, all this stuff, and it's not true.
Yeah,
so
no.
I'm going to warn that
you
out.
You got to call that out when it's worthy of calling out.
I'm going to be calling some people out here really shortly, and I never go into a dogfight unless I know I'm going to win. That's all I'm saying is I don't mind them doing what they're doing, but you gotta be transparent about it. If you're going to step up and do that kind of shit, you better tell people where these knives are being made.
God, who are you gonna out first?
You'll see.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This is off record.
Is it anybody I know?
Oh yeah.
It's not me.
No, dude, you make your stuff stateside.
I'm the real thing.
No,
hey, listen.
No, because I could quantify by going to your factory.
Yeah.
But I got guys that are like, oh no, our factories are all over the USA. And I'm like, yeah, okay,
I've
dude.
seen some picture-to-picture, side-by-sides of guys doing knockoffs of your stuff that looks like the parts are interchangeable. And I was like, holy
it sucks,
shit.
man. And that's another big thing that we battle is we have to battle from an intellectual standpoint side. It's like whack-a-mole, bro.
Yeah, no, I get it. Listen, I really appreciate it. It's funny. Customers always like to pit everybody against each other. Oh, I'm this guy, or I'm that guy, or I'm this guy. I love that you came over and took time out of your day. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. I really appreciate
man, it's
it.
awesome. And I hope when
as
you
always,
get down to
wish
North
you the
Carolina, let's get together. I'll get you on my podcast. We'll have some drinks and some fun. Maybe
awesome.
Maybe cook some food or something.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Anthony. Hey, you guys, that's Anthony Marfione from Marfione Knives, Microtech. Here we are.
Thanks.